differently themselves, but in reality don't know too much about what it is that they're doing. Okay, so particularly like we coach novice rowers, they have no idea, they don't know what the equipment is, they don't know how to get into the boat. You have to tell them how to do absolutely everything, but if you yell at them it won't work. Okay, but they need to be told. Okay, so if they lack experience, but they're keen, enthusiastic, then we can tell people what to do a little bit more. Is that fair enough? Mm-hmm. They need it. If you don't do it, what happens?
They don't know.
Yeah, and they start becoming what?
They drift.
They drift. And some coaches are like that. Some coaches just don't give much information. And some athletes really, really need it. And then we go up the scale. We start looking at, if you're more of an S, that's more of a participating style of coaching. What do we mean by participating? What does that suggest to you?
They'll probably show a little bit more.
Yeah. You would ask them more questions. You say, well, look, this is what we're doing today. What do you think about this? Do you have an opinion on that? How are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Do you have a better suggestion? And what sort of athlete might you do that with?
High skilled athlete.
A higher skilled athlete. It's pretty enthusiastic and happy about
Already
being there.
disciplined.
Yeah. Okay. You get them involved more. What would happen if you just told them what to do all the time?
Not making their own decisions, and that becomes a weak athlete.
Well, yeah, and they start opting out once again. They start drifting. They start being, well, this isn't for me, I'll find someone else. Okay? Then we go along to the next scale along where we look at the motivating style, which is something that an I is actually pretty good at, because that's just who they are and what they do. Okay, so it's a motivating style, which means that the amount of task-orientated behaviour is pretty low, but their people orientation is high. So, when would you use a more motivating style to coach? What sort of athletes?
When people are feeling down.
Exactly. But they know how to do it. And then you get that's your typical halftime speech you might give to the Manly, Sea Eagles this Sunday afternoon when the Storm are up by 20 at halftime, right?
Like, yeah.
And they're dropping the ball and they're doing all these things, okay? They haven't forgotten how to catch. But imagine if you did that. Imagine if you did the equivalent with your athletes. You're like, yes, they're not performing very well, but they haven't forgotten. They haven't actually, and you see this happen every time in footy, don't you? I mean, other sports are the same. Your athletes don't forget how to row, they don't forget how to catch a ball or bat or kick or do any of those sort of things, but sometimes they lose confidence. And when someone loses confidence, we need to encourage them and prop them up and do those sort of things. You don't need to tell them how to do it. You don't run catching drills at half time. Okay? But what if you did?
They just switch off.
Oh boy, you want to tell them what to do.
The Seas would want to do that, wouldn't they?
I wouldn't do that.
You want to do that. Like I want to do that. Like I want to tell them what to do. It doesn't work, does it?
No.
That's not what they need. And so, the organising style, that's when the amount of people-orientated behaviour and task-orientated behaviour is both pretty low. And so what that is about is it's about where and when, it's about organising the logistics. And I know coaches in rowing that are exceptionally good at this. You know some?
Mm.
They're really good with the logistics, but to do some of the other things, not so great with. Okay? So this is not about what you want to do. It's not about what we want to do as coaches. What is it about?
Best,
How?
What the athlete requires.